Greetings, fellow dungeon delvers, and welcome to Dorans and Dragons, where we work together to come up with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition builds for your favorite League of Legends champions. Today we're building Zed, the Master of Shadows. Zed started on his path to enlightenment as a member of the Kinku Order. Because of his powerful emotions, Zed was unable to enter the dispassionate mindspace required to master Kinku's spiritual tenets. After a series of escalating events, including the Noxian incursion into Ionia, referenced by our Swain video, Zed was fed up by the Kinku's inaction and sought out the forbidden knowledge of the Shadow. After embracing this power, Zed murdered his former master and set out to eliminate all those who would threaten Ionia. If you're enjoying our builds, please remember to like and subscribe, and maybe hit that share button as well, as it really helps deal with the dreaded YouTube algorithm. First, let's cover the goals of this build. We need our Shadow clones. These are a key component to Zed's flavor and abilities. Zed also needs his shurikens, and the ability to throw these from his shadows. Zed's Shadow Slash is an AoE strike that we'll need to replicate. And finally, we need to find an ability to amplify our damage, similar to Zed's ultimate. For race, we'll go back to our staple and go with the Varian Human. The extra feat will help unlock Zed's E ability very early. Varian Humans choose 2 attributes to gain a +1 bonus too. We'll grab Dexterity and Constitution, as that'll be the 2 main stats we focus on in this build. You also gain proficiency in 1 skill. We'll choose Stealth, which will assist in our ability to truly be a Master of Shadows. Finally, we gain our free feat. This is the main draw of choosing Varian Human, and at early levels is an overpowered choice. We're going to go with Martial Adept. This lets you choose 2 of the Battlemaster Fighter's maneuvers to use once per rest using a d6 superiority die. The first choice we'll make is Sweeping Attack. This is Zed's E ability, Shadow Slash. When you hit a creature, you can extend your strike to a target within 5 feet of it and within your reach, as long as the attack roll would have hit that creature as well. Roll your superiority die and add it to the damage. Next, we'll take Fainting Attack. You can use your bonus action to gain advantage on your next attack roll, and if that turn hits, roll your superiority die and add it to the damage. As always for stats, we'll be using the standard array. Rolling is fun, but make sure you have at least a 13 in your Wisdom and Dexterity for multiclassing. Speaking of which, we'll kick things off with Dexterity. Zed is quick and nimble and uses his speed to strike. This is going to be our most important stat in the build. Next is Constitution. Now, Zed is generally a squishy mid-lane assassin, but a lot of the abilities we rely on to make this build work scale based on Constitution, so we're going to keep it at our second highest stat. After that, we'll grab Wisdom for multiclassing minimums. This also works fine for Zed since he formed an entire order of assassins on his own. Next, we'll take Charisma. Those assassins we mentioned earlier follow Zed to a near Zealot level. It takes a charismatic figure to do that. And our Strength is next. Zed doesn't rely on it too much, but we don't want it to be a negative modifier for the classes we're taking. Finally, we'll dump our Intelligence. Zed isn't dumb, but we need something to dump here, so this has to be it. Now for our equipment, we'll only need a few things. In the Dungeon Master's Guide, there's a table called Wuxia Weapon Names that translates standard weapons into weaponry from other cultures. We'll be using the Japanese variant of the dart, which will make them shuriken for Zed's Q. We also need arm blade mounted short swords. Your DM might give you a hard time about it, but just volunteer snack duty for an extra night and they'll probably get off your back. Alright, time to kick this build off. We're going to start with a level in Fighter. Fighters have a d10 hit die. They also gain proficiencies with all armors, all weapons, and gain 2 skills. We'll take Acrobatics and Intimidation for those skills. Can't do the cool flips and scare your followers into submission without them. At first level, fighters choose a fighting style. We'll go with 2-weapon fighting. This lets you add your dex modifier to your offhand weapon strikes, which will enable you to use both of the arm blade mounted short swords. The final feature you gain at level 1 with Fighter is Second Wind. This lets you regain 1d10 plus your fighter level HP once per rest. Second level fighters gain Action Surge. This is critical to this build. When you activate this, you can take 1 additional action on your turn. This will let you activate Zed's ult and then attack with it on the same turn. Level 3 fighters choose their martial archetype. Now it's time for you to embrace the shadows. We'll choose the Echo Knight from Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. This gives you a lot of features focused on Zed. First is the Manifest Echo ability, which is exactly like Zed's W, Living Shadow. You gain the ability to manifest an echo of yourself up to 15 feet away as a bonus action. On your turn, you can move the shadow up to 30 feet as a free action. And as a bonus action, you can swap places with your echo for 15 feet of your movement. When you attack, the attacks can originate from either yourself or the echo. Your echo also has the ability to take opportunity attacks for you as well, using your reaction. As if that wasn't cool enough, you also gain the ability Unleash Incarnation. Doing so allows you to make an additional attack from your Echo's position. You can do this a number of times equal to your con modifier. This will allow you to perform Zed's QW combo using your shurikens. Now obviously, once you gain extra attack, you'll be able to do that through that as well, but this lets you do it at level 3 rather than level 5. At 4th level, fighters gain an ability score improvement, the first of like 100. For this level, we'll start ramping up our dexterity, putting both points into it for now. As I mentioned before, level 5 fighters gain the extra attack feature. Now when you attack, you get 2 main hand strikes instead of 1. Now that we've gained our Q, W, and E abilities, it's time to get our passive and ultimate by going 2 levels into Cleric. Clerics have a D8 hit die, which is a tad lower than Fighter, but overall not bad. You gain no new proficiencies, unfortunately, because Fighter already provided the ones you gained here. Most importantly, first level Clerics choose their domain. We're going to go Grave Domain for the Channel Divinity that you gain next level. Zed also has Embraced the Shadow, which may be a deity of the grave. We're not really sure. You gain Circle of Mortality. When you attempt to heal a creature at 0 HP, you use the max value for each die. You also get Spare the Dying for free, and it can be cast as a bonus action from up to 30 feet away. Level 1 Clerics also gain level 1 spells and cantrips. We'll take Toll the Dead first. Like Zed's passive, it deals additional damage based on whether a target is missing health. This scales with overall level as well, so no matter what class levels you take, it'll deal 48 or 4d12 necrotic damage at level 20. The only spell we'll focus on after that is Cure Wounds, which lets you heal 1d8. Use this in conjunction with your Circle of Mortality and flavor it as a summoner spell Heal. Finally, you gain Eyes of the Grave. This lets you detect undead creatures within 60 feet that aren't hidden by cover or magic. Now, this isn't really special to Zed, but it's still pretty cool. Second level Clerics unlock their Channel Divinities. All Clerics gain the Turn Undead Channel Divinity. This forces all undead within 30 feet to make a Wisdom save or be turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage. This isn't really Zed related as well, but it may help if you ever head to the Shadow House. The Grave Domain's Channel Divinity is known as Path to the Grave. This is going to be the damage portion of Zed's ultimate. We'll grab the third shadow portion of the ultimate later. As an action, you choose a creature and curse it till the end of your next turn. The next attack made on this creature is treated as vulnerable, thus doing double damage. Here's where the build starts to have some options. Now to get Zed's third shadow, we'll have to max out our fighter levels and get to fighter 18. This cuts out a lot of potential damage, which could be achieved by going max rogue at this point, and using Path to the Grave combined with Action Surge combined with a sneak attack if you take Assassin, and have a guaranteed crit on top of double damage. This is insane. But on this channel, we're focused on flavor first, so we're going to finish the build and get Zed's third shadow. If you guys are interested in the Assassin build, let me know and I could build that on D&D Beyond for you guys. Speaking of, time to max out the fighter levels. 6th level fighters gain another ability score improvement. We'll max out our decks here. At level 7, Echo Knights gain Echo Avatar, which lets you transfer yourself into the Echo for 10 minutes. This lets you see and hear through it, though you are deafened and blinded in your main body during this. It can move up to 1,000 feet away from you while you're using this feature. 8th level fighters gain another ability score improvement. Now we'll start to scale our constitution by putting both points into it. Level 9 fighters gain Indomitable. When you fail a saving throw, you can re-roll it and use the new roll instead. This recharges on a long rest. This will give you the ability to shave off some spell damage and reflects on your nimbleness. At 10th level, Echo Knights gain the Shadow Martyr ability, which lets you sacrifice a shadow to take an attack instead of you. This recharges on any rest. Keep an eye out for this feature later on as we're going to leverage it into healing ourselves. 11th level fighters gain another extra attack. You can now attack 3 times with your main hand per attack action. Level 12 fighters gain another ability score improvement. Go figure. Now we'll bring up our con to 19 by putting both points into that. We're going to max it out in a bit with a feat. At 13th level, fighters gain a charge and Indomitable. 14th level fighters gain another ability score improvement. We're going to change things up and grab a feat this time. We'll max out our constitution with Durable. This gives a +1 to your con, and when you roll a dice to heal, the minimum number of HP you gain is twice your con modifier. At this point, whenever you take a short rest and use your hit die, you will gain full HP for each of those hit die, as well as your second win die. Level 15 Echo Knights gain the Reclaim Potential ability. When your Echo is destroyed, you gain 2d6 plus your con bonus and temporary hit points, with a number of uses equal to your con bonus as well. This lets you sacrifice your clones to heal and shield yourself from other attacks, when used in conjunction with your Shadow Martyr ability. At 16th level, you gain your final ability score improvement for the build. We'll take the Defensive Duelist feat, which lets you use your reaction to add your proficiency bonus to your AC for an attack made against you. 17th level fighters gain an additional charge of Action Surge and Indomitable. Now for our final level, we'll gain the Legion of One feature. This unlocks Zed's third shadow, and if you start a combat with no Unleash Incarnations left, this feature recharges one of those uses for you. This is what it was all about, getting Zed's third shadow and finally completing the ultimate attack. Alright, now that we've completed the build, let's see how we did. First, the good. We did a great job bringing Zed to life thanks to the new books. The ability to send out his shadows and manipulate them is awesome. Echo Knight is easily one of my favorite new subclasses. My brother is playing an Echo Knight in one of the campaigns I'm running right now. It's always fun to see what creative things he can come up with to do with his shadows. Now back to Zed. We also got all of the special equipment with the arm blades and shurikens. And finally, he's surprisingly tanky. With all these con bonuses and proficiencies in armor, your Zed build can be quite beefy. Now for the bad. Unfortunately, we missed a bit of the assassin flavor. This is a consequence of trying to get Zed's third shadow for his ultimate. Feel free to deviate into the assassin subclass or rogue if you'd like to fulfill that side of the fantasy. Also, the damage is a bit low as well. You have 3 attacks, but you can only do double the damage of 1 strike with your ultimate ability. So, what'd you think? Are there changes you'd make to the build? If so, comment below and let us know. I've included a link to this build via D&D Beyond in the description below if you'd like to view the character sheet digitally, as well as Amazon links to the books used in this build. If you enjoy this type of content, please like, share, and subscribe, then leave a comment on which champion you'd like us to take on next. We plan on turning out one League Champion build every week now. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll catch you on the Rift, or in the Forgotten Realms.